It's now live.
Okay. Good afternoon from Ryan's Family Amusements in Millis, Massachusetts. I'm Dan Cass, and I'll be your host today for a great double match of the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. And today we have two B Division matches going on at the same time. And we'll have Rich Cocchi versus Bob Lee, Mike DiGianni. There we go, I'll get it right. Versus Kyle Heady. Today we're changing up the format a little bit. Rather than going alternating, we will have the person going head to home bowler in one on the left on lane 21. We've now gotten underway. Bob has started a 7-drop, and Rich is off on the 3-pin, and he has an 8-drop to start. And we are keeping score on the screen today. I'm doing my best at that. It's a new system. And so that will be also live. So in the second ball, Bobby misses his spare, takes out his spin in 8-box. And hang on back, Rich ends up with a 9, and Bob at 8-box in the first box of the game. Again, these bowlers are head-to-head today. And it's 2 of game 1. Bob Lee with a half blister left, punching 2. And Rich Cocchi drops 9. Bob off to the right, just picks up a couple more. And Rich does not get to spare on this one. Bob trying to clean up some pins as best as he can here. And he doesn't do bad, he picks up 7. And Rich picks up 10-box. Now coming into box 3. Bob Lee on the head pin. And scoring new to me, so I'm doing my best to match. Rich Cocchi. Okay, very good. So talking about the speed of the balls right now, Bob's throwing at 30 miles an hour, and Rich is at 33. So we have 2 very good speeds, guys. There's an 8-box. Rich is on there. It is 7. Bobby missed their attempt. And Cocchi on another spare. And Bobby sucks. So, we're ending the 4th. Bobby has 10. Rich on the spare. Bob drops 8. Score's running behind here. That's going to score. So I'm just going to film. He won. Rich Cocchi drops, so that gives him 53. Bob Lee he's out to a 20. Bob is to the left, picks up just the 10-pin. Rich going for his 3rd spare in a row, and he gets it. So at that happens. 63 plus the ball, and Bob Lee at 42. I'm muted. Right. I'm having a tough time keeping up with that. Now coming into the second match is Kyle Heady on the right and Mike DiGianni on the left. Kyle home bowler. Kyle starts with a piece of wood. Off 7, he's behind 10. Up to make it, he just picks up the 2. Mike on the start a little wider than he wanted to hit. He drops 2 more, so we'll have 9 pins down, 1 up. Single pins, now box for 20. And coming into box 2, and again, to remind everybody, dealers are both head today. They not having to wait around for their opponent. They are against let's call it, and left. Kyle misses to the right in the attempt. And Oh, he did not get it. He hit it well, but it did not go. He'll try to clear the deck, and he does. He's 10 box. And Mike also has a box. So after 2, Kyle's at 19, Mike's at 20. Each bowler will bowl 5 at a time, and then they'll set the other team, the 2 up. Kyle drops 5 on his first ball. He has drops 9. Kyle's in, and Mike is going first attempt. And again, wood does not work to his advantage. So each bowler will bowl 5 boxes. Then they'll sit down and the match will come up and bowl 5, and then. Switch again for the second 5. Now we are all in our first 5. Kyle has a box for 29 after 3. Mike has a 10 box for 30 after 3. We'll be bowling 5 games today on each match. Winner of each is awarded 2 points for the playoff standings. The winner of the total score picks up 4 points. So the total is very. If there's a tie in a game, which happened in my last 3 matches actually, then each bowler gets 1 point per, 1 point each. So possible 14 points for the standings. Back to the live action. We have our first spare in this match, and that's Mike DiGianni with a spare on the left, and Kyle picks up a 10. So at the 4th box, Mike with a 7, with a 40 plus a ball, and Kyle with a 39. Kyle in his first ball in box 5. He's off on a 2-pin, but he gets some great action. He's throwing about 31 miles an hour. Mike picks up a half Worcester and a fill, so a 2 fill gives him 42 after 4. Mike going for a cluster at 3. And he gets it off the wall. Nicely done. 49 plus a ball after the half. Mike is throwing a very hard ball. Our
40 miles an hour.
system here only goes up to 40, and it doesn't take it. The radar gun says
40 on the radar.
The radar says 40.
Maybe.
So at the halfway point, Mike is at 52 plus a ball. Kyle's at 49 plus a ball, and now our first set of bowlers is coming up. Bob Lee on the left, Rich Cocchi on the right. And recap, at the moment, on the right, Rich is at 63 plus a ball, and Bob is at 42. Okay, coming in box 6. Rich Cocchi, 6. His 30-mile-an-hour ball drops 6 in the fill. He has 69 at the half. Bob Lee has got a strike. And Bob threw a 33-mile-an-hour ball to get that strike. Little delayed action's okay. As long as they all go, they go. We're all happy with that. Rich trying to pick up the 7 for a 10 box. And he picks up none of those, so he has an 8 box at the 6th box. The 6th, 77 after 6 boxes, and Bob Lee's at 52 plus a fill of 2 balls. Okay, and I'll be periodically checking for comments on a different screen. So if you have a question, compliment, complaint, or whatever that you'd like to leave for me on the comment screen, go ahead and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Rich Cocchi does not get the spare. He's left with a 3-pin split. Bobby now going for his second ball after dropping 6 on the first. He goes to the right, picks up 2 more. That gives him an 8 fill. So in his 6 box, he's narrowed the gap a little bit with 60 after 6 to Rich's 77. Now she's at 80 with the 7 box. Bobby picks wood instead. And Bob 16. So Rich Cocchi 4, Bob 68. Catch up the score on the screen in a little bit. He runs the score when we see it that way, and he's very at it up there. Bob Lee drops 7, Rich Cocchi drops 6. Rich is 3 on the left, and the 10. He's got a chance of Millis wood to go over. It does not go. Nice try. Bob with the 1-2-7, and a piece of wood in the back. He's on the head pin, and the little is not 7 pin. Rich Cocchi with the 10, 4 after 8. Since that ball wasn't, so that's a foul. Bowler's call here. So Bob at 77 after 8. He needs to mark a couple of times to catch up to Rich, who's 17 pins ahead of him. Rich drops 7 or drops 8. He's left with the 3, and that's may or may not be in. I call up a symbol. Oh, Rich, the obstacle wood. Here, there. In the head in, and I'll go up 7. He has some late action. And the wood is out. So Bob can right on that one. Misses a little bit. 87. Bob right now is under Rich's double strike here. Rich, nice ball. Picks up 7, has the 3, 6, and 10 left. Bobby on the head pin. All but the 4 pin. So it looks like Rich will win this first match. And Bobby gets the mark in the 10th, bring him a little closer, at least for total. And Cocchi with a 10 box for a 112 at the finish. Bob Lee on the fill. Nice ball, drops 8, and that leaves Bobby with a 105. So Rich Cocchi wins by 7.
Okay.
So Bob closed the gap. It's only a 7-pin differential in the total. Now Mike and Kyle come up. Mike DiGianni on right. Central Park Lanes in East Boston. Or CPL is a lot of the bowlers. And Kyle on the left, who is home in his home house of Millis. Ryan's Family Amusement. On the fill, both bowlers were on spares. He picked up 7, so he ends up first half with 59. Kyle had 1 fill and had a lemon drop right, and that gives him a 50 after 5, but he makes the next spare. Beautifully done. That was big for him. Might not have a spare on the 6, and he has a box at 68. Kyle's got an opportunity to catch up here. He's at 60 plus a ball. And Mike throws it up left. Picks up just 1. Kyle puts 4 in the fill for 64. As I spill coffee all over myself. So Kyle's at 64 after 6. Kyle for the Scarrets have a nice try. Open. Mike got 7 after Kyle trying to get a few more. Missed 6 out of 7. He's up to a 7-pin game. Advantage of Mike PG. I'm not on coffee on myself.
Look fancy, Dan.
Mike DG at 7. Up here. Rob's almost left with a 10 Kyle. Mike 2. State 10. And he makes a remarkable shot. As a high, both on marks. 8 plus 1, 7, 8. Mike drops in. He's 7 in this time. And Kyle 4 on his stairs. Action box. Mike to make Kyle's hand 10. And up tip there. Beautifully done. And Kyle picks up a spare too. Kyle Future does not go down easy. Tough ball. And we had a pin drop on this one. There we go. And the sweep comes down. Sometimes you take the fill down there. It'll be reset shortly after. It dropped down earlier, so on the right for the 10 box spare fill. Just a little bit. He's up on that for 1-9 after. Kyle 9 drops, close the gap a little bit. He is left with a 7-pin and a 103 after 9, so it's a 6-pin game. Mike D just goes through the hole. Let's dive up. Kyle needs turn. He's 3 more for an 8 box. 116. 16. Ball 16. All right, 10. Up 3. So we have tied with Cole at 1 seed. So recap our first match. Rich Cocchi 112 to Bob Lee 105. Our opponent's second game tied for 1 seed, each get 1 point. And so we write this down on the official sheets. And so I'll just see some guys go. Okay, so great bowling so far on all 4 bowlers' parts. Everybody keeping it close and as close as a tie in our match 2. So on the right, game 2, Bob Lee. And he starts off with a 4 left, or as many as call it, Rowski special. So Rich Rowski is looking an hour delayed. You get it. Rich gets one of my favorite leaves in the world, spread low. Put it right on the head pin. Did not go. Bob Lee just got and on the head pin again, so doesn't have any needs to pick up at least and bounce up. Rich, beautiful shot, and for the 9 box. Almost there that. Against that box 2. Bob Lee. Left hand pocket, a little light. And Rich Cocchi off to the left slightly. And he has the 4 horsemen to the right. Bob Lee picks up a spare in box 2. And Cocchi is off to the left. And gets 9 more. So Cocchi at 18. Bob Lee coming into box 2. Puts 4 on his fill. In box 3, Rich Cocchi with 6 to start. Bob Lee making a spare attempt. He's on the head pin. Cocchi took by all but hit under 10, on that 4 pins on the deck, and he picks up 9. Cocchi has 10 box. Bob Lee, box 4, he's on the pin, he's left with the 2 and the 4 pin if he would. That could be helpful. Cocchi off on 2 pins, but he can action. He's got the ropes and some pins, left the 1 pin. He's trying to pick it up off the wood, and to the left a little too much. Cocchi on the head pin. What an effort for them. Everything. And Bob Lee at 9 in the 4th. Cocchi at 10. It's the last box. 4 boxes. Lee opening up the big box on the 3 pin. Buddy takes out 8 as a 1-2 with a very attractive piece of wood in the middle. Rich Cocchi is on the 2 pin also, and he takes out 8. He's left with a 1-3 pin. Now, Bobby hits the Saren pin, and it's off the and closes with a 10. So after 5 boxes, our bowlers are Bob Lee with 52 plus a ball, and Rich Cocchi with 47 plus. See if I can put a spare in there if we can. Coming into our game 2 of our second match, we pile Heady on the right, Mike DiGianni on this, and all it tied in the first string, 16. High drop 7, it's a 1-3-7. And on the head twice, but it's all around, so he's still with 3 letting pile this thing, pile this thing, and has an 8 box, and
Switching the resolution. I wasn't working on the Wi-Fi. We're switching to low res, but hopefully everybody will enjoy it.
So yeah, we had some mention that the program was running a little slow, which is probably an internet issue. So Bob's solution in the video a little bit slower than everybody, but get more speed, the big way we have to work. On box 2, Kyle Heady drops 6 to start. And Mike DiGianni drops 7. 1, 6, 10. With some wood that may help, I don't know. And that wood didn't help, but his 40-mile-an-hour ball sure helped because it drove a pin off the wall into the 10 pin for a spare. And Kyle tries to move the wood too, and into the 9 box. After 2 boxes, Kyle Heady on the right with 16. Mike DiGianni, or make it 17. Yes, score up top, run a little off. And DiGianni has an 18 plus ball. He drops 6, 1, 3, 8, 9. DiGianni a little bit off, but gets 4 fill, so he closes out box with a 22 to Heady's 17. Kyle Heady drops with the head pin on that. And Mike off the right, a little bit to the left. Bob picks up a 10 for 3. And Mike has a 3. So he has lead over Kyle right. He did 3 and then only. And the other split lead on the left has the spread eagle. We're only trying to go on the inside of the half booster to the hole. Attempting spare the spread eagle, he picks up all but 2. Great effort. He moved the pin over, took out the 7. And he head pin. Doesn't get the has a 6 box that gives him 33 4. And Mike DiGianni has 7 or 8 in his box for 39. So he has a 6 pin lead over Kyle Heady. Kyle drops 8 with a nice head pin hit. Mike up on the pin, leaves a 4 horseman right, 2 to the left. Heady for the spare. Oh, it's a much needed spare in the 5th. Oh, what an effort. He was right in that pocket, but leaves the 4 and the 7 pin with a piece of wood in front of it with a 10 attempt. And just gets 1 for a 9 box. So after 5, Kyle Heady has 43 plus a ball to Mike DiGianni's 48. So it's a very close match. Going back up to our first match, Bob Lee will be on the left on lane 21. Rich Cocchi will be on the right. And as a reminder of the scores, Bob has a 52 plus a ball, and Rich has a 47. And we'll recap some of the statistics that we have in the ACST momentarily. All 4 of these bowlers are in the Atlantic Candlepin Single Tour B division, the Souths. There are a total of 32 bowlers in the B division, 16 in each conference, and each conference is further broken down into 4. So, my tablet up here with information, and we see Bob Lee put 7 in his fill. He had 59.5 in the first half, so it's 12 pin lead over Rick Cocchi, 47.5. Cocchi has a 10 box. He has 57 after 6. And Bob Lee does it in box at 69. In the standings, the match is going on right now. Bob Lee is in the group in the South Division, in the South Conference. Is in 3rd place of the 4 bowlers in that group. 42 in his 56 in his loss column. And so far, Bob has been averaging 109. The B division is generally the bowlers 100 to 110. A lot of bowlers this year running over 110. So Bobby's quite well from an average standpoint. Rich Cocchi has 50 in his win column and 58 in the loss column, and he's in 2nd place in 3rd. He's currently averaging 109.8. So very close to slightly higher average than Bob has, but not much, less than a pin. Cocchi has an 8 box for 65 after 7. And Bob Lee has 7 box for 76 after 7. So Bob Lee's up 11 wins at the moment. Rich Cocchi, great ball. Leaves the 1-7. Bob Lee on the 3 pin. Get some action. And he's left with a 1, 2, 9 pin with a piece of wood. And I was wrong, that's not the 1-7, that's the 5-7. Tough shot. Goes wide to the left a little bit. Bob Lee picks up a mark. Cocchi misses wide to the right end. Cocchi has 73 after 8, and Bob Lee is at 86 plus a ball. We'll go their stats. Nice ball by Cocchi. Takes out everything but the 3. Needs mark, probably facing. Bob Lee in the pocket. A little bit light. His ball was breaking left and right. Cocchi gives him 94 after 8. Cocchi misses left with a single pin. Bob Lee's left with a 7. It's a little flat, so I don't know if it's going to try at it. Puts it right through, and his field goals don't count. So he gets nothing for that. Bridge Cocchi picks up the single pin for a 10 box, 83 after 9. Bob Lee now on the wood, and just picks up 1 for a 9 box. Bob Lee's at 103. He has a 20 pin lead. Rich Cocchi needs at least a double strike. And hopefully nothing for Bob from his standpoint. And he's off on the 2 pin, picks up 7. He's up with 1, which is a challenging spare leave. Bob Lee off to the right of the head pin, that's 4 horsemen plus a 10 pin. Might be able to move that wood over. Coach trying to slip. He does beautiful tap. The pin fly in front of the 7, so it doesn't make contact. And he attempts. He's in there, and the 7 pin comes off from the wood flying around. A spare and 10. That will cement the win for Bob Lee. He ends up with 10 box in a 93 game. Bob Lee on the bill in the 10. 6, 7, maybe 8. 8 it is for a 120 string for Bob Lee. Bob Lee wins that one handily. Bob Lee has a 22 pin lead in point total at this point. We'll catch up the scores on the screen now that Bob's coming here to work on the screen a little bit. And let's watch Kyle and Mike. Kyle is on a spare. Mike's on an open frame, so Mike has 48 at the half. Kyle has 43 plus a ball. Needs a 5 fill to catch up. Mike drops 7. Kyle gets most of them. He gets a 3 fill. So he's at 46 to Mike's 48 after 5. Mike's got a tough lead to make a spare on. He picks up just 1. Kyle's going to basically the half twister minus plus pin out as well. And goes to the left. He's got 3 remaining. And Mike misses left with an 8 box for 56 after 6. Kyle misses everything and has a 7 box for 53 after 6. Okay, in box 7. Mike breaks up the split, has just a 7 pin left. Heady just out of the pocket a little bit. And he has 3 plus 1. Got to make the wood dance if he wants to take out that 7 pin. Mike has just a 7 pin to shoot at, and he misses right. Kyle in the spare attempt caps the wood. Whoa! Not sure he wanted to cap the wood, but he needed the wood to come into play. Mike ends up with a 10 box for 66 after 7. And Kyle misses the wood and has an 8 box for 61 after 7. So it's a 5 pin game. Mike throws a great ball, drops 9. He's left with the 8 pin, I believe. It's wood. Kyle's on the head pin 2 full. And takes out 5. 4. Is it 9? Is it 8 pin back there too? No, it's 5. Mike misses a spare attempt. Kyle goes to the right.
gentleman's shot.
And a gentleman's 10, as Bob says. Mike was very careful not to bruise the pin. And Kyle has a nice 9. 76 to 70 in favor of Mike at the 8th box. In terms of standings, these two bowlers are also in the ACST B Division South Conference. Mike puts a ball beautifully in the pocket, and Kyle is in Group 1, and he's in second place currently to Dave Edison. Kyle has 63 in the win column and 49 in the loss column, and is averaging 109. And Mike, there's one, picks up the spare. Mike is in Group 3. He's in first place currently with 82 in the win column and 44 in the loss column. And Mike is averaging 111.8, just under 112. Mike's having a great season. Mike's at present in line for the playoffs. Winner of each 4 groups goes into the playoffs. Kyle has a 9 box for 79 after 9. And Mike drops 8 to fill his spare in the 9th. With 8 gives him 94. Kyle needs a big box here and wants to come back on this one. Has 7, 1, 3, and 7 with some wood. Mike's shooting at 5, 7, does not get it. Gaps wood. Kyle for this must-have spare. I don't think it's going to be enough. No. He drops 8 open to this box. Mike picks up one more pin for a 9 box and a 103. His final total. And Kyle has a 9 box for an 89 after 10. Or 88 after 10, I'm sorry. Can't do arithmetic.
That was a 103?
Yep, 103.
And I'm going to leave it. You can just leave those blank. Just explain to the viewers. We'll update the scores at the half for the lead coaching match.
Yep, okay. So we'll be updating scores on a screen at the halfway point each time. Just to make it a little easier on me that I'm trying to do too many things at once. So presently in the second match, Mike DiGianni has a 219 total for a 15-pin lead over Kyle Heady, and he now has 3 points to Kyle's 1, and our bowlers on the other match, who are now coming up, are each tied at 2 points apiece. First ball of the third game, Bob Lee starts with the Caleri left, and Rich Cocchi drops 3, the spread eagle plus a 9 pin. And they each pick up 1 pin on their spare attempt. Bob to try to make a 10, needs to be on the head pin. He's on the head pin, gets 9. And Rich goes through the hole again. Starts with a 4 box. Bob Lee, box 2. Nice ball, but he's left with a 4-10 split. Some wood that's a little ways out there may not help him. Rich throws a beautiful ball. All the pins around go, but the center pin, the 5 pin, remains. Bob's on a tough spare. How's he going to go? He's going to the right. And he is successful at picking up the left-hand pin, but the 10 pin remains. Rich is shooting just at a single pin here. Takes it off the wood for a spare in the second. Beautifully done. Deserved that after that first ball. And Bob Lee leaves a single pin for a 9 box. Bob's at 18 after 2. Rich is at 14 plus whatever this first ball is. Okay, Bob starting box 3. Just out of the pocket. Drops 4 and leaves a Kamrowski special left. Rich Cocchi on his fill ball. Takes 7. That gives him a 21 pin total for 2, 3-pin lead over Bobby. And he's left with the castle left. Bob Lee picks up the spare. Rich making a great effort off the wall. Really tough spare to make. Picks up 2. Now he's left with just a 5-pin. And the wood doesn't help him. So he's got a 9-box for 30 after 3. Bob's at 28 after 3. Plus whatever this ball gives him. And he's in the left-hand pocket and drops a strike. A 10 fill, doesn't get better than that. That's 38 after 3. And Rich is solid on the head pin again. And punches out the 1 and the 5. Very aggravating for any bowler. He's in the hole again, just barely. Just missed the 2-pin by a fraction of an inch. Gonna try again. And he picks up 2 more, and that gives him a 4-box for 34 after 4. It's very, very aggravating to be on the head pin nice and solid like that and get a result like that. You know, the bowler's throwing a nice ball. Bobby on the 3-pin. First ball in the strike field. Takes out 6. Rich isn't getting any breaks here at all. He takes out 2 for half Worcester left. Bob for his second ball in the box, and he gets another spare. A 10 fill in his strike gives him 58 after 4.
Well done, Bob.
To Rich's 34 after 4, and Bob's at 68 plus a ball for this half.
If you ever want to do this, I'll show you how.
And Rich picks up a 10, very nicely done so he's at 44 after 5, down 24 pins for Bob, plus the fill. So our match 2 bowlers will come up now for the first half of game 3. Kyle Heady on the right, Mike DiGianni on the left. And as you recall, in the first 2 games, they tied the first game and Mike won the second. Kyle with the ball in the pocket leaves a 7-10 split with some wood that may be helpful. Can't make this one a 10-pin, but sometimes you can in Candlepin. Mike full on the head pin, and he also gets blessed with a spread eagle minus a pin.
Oh!
And Kyle Heady makes a 7-10 split. Spare in the first box, beautifully done. Mike attempting to spare this, and wow, what an effort here. Takes everything but 1 pin. And to try for a 10, he's off to the right. After the first box, Kyle's at 10 plus a ball, Mike's at 9. First ball in the second box for Kyle. He's in the left-hand pocket, a little bit light, takes out 5, so he's 15 for his first box. Mike in the pocket. He leaves the 2, 5, 7. Kyle trying to go a little light on that object pin and misses everything. Mike for the spare, and he caps the wood and sends that into the pit, but he gets nothing for it. And Kyle, has an 8-box. And Mike ends up with after the box, Kyle has a 5-pin lead, 23 to 18. Kyle puts it on the 2-pin, I believe, and is left with a 1, 8, 9, 10. Mike follows suit on the 2-pin, and he's left with a 1, 3, 7, 10. Kyle makes a spare.
What a shot!
That was amazing.
That was the 1, 8, 9, 10, Dan?
1, 8, 9, 10.
Holy
no
smokes.
Wood. I wish we had instant replay, but I'm going to go back and watch the recording of that shot.
Tell the YouTube and the viewers to just hit the back button.
Yeah, just hit the
Go
back
back and
button.
watch it twice, 3 times if you like.
I've seen that done with wood, but I've never seen it done that way before. That was beautiful. Mike has a 7 box. He was left with a 1-7-10 as his final lead. On the fill, Kyle Heady with a 9 drop. And that means he closes out his 3rd box with 42 to Mike's 25. Mike on the head pin. 5-8 or 5-9 is the lead with no wood. Kyle's got some wood in here. He's got to be careful because the wood can be tricky. He's going to try to take it over there and helicopter it over. It does not go. Oh, Mike, a little light and does not pick up the left-hand pin. He needs a spare or 2 to catch up here. Kyle has a 10 box, 52 after 5. To Mike's 44 after, or 34 after 4. I'm sorry, so 52 after 4 for Kyle, 34 after 4 for Mike. Kyle opening up the 5th box. Another head pin shot, and he's got the 6-10 with a favorable piece of wood in front of him. Mike on the head pin, solid. He leaves 3. 3, 6-10. Kyle picks up the spare in the 6. He's at 62 plus a ball. Beautiful half for him. And Mike picks up a spare. He's off the object, but the wood kicks it over. And he needed that spare. He wanted to sit down on one at least. And so at the half in this game, Kyle Heady at 62 plus a ball. Mike DiGianni at 44 plus a ball. Now our match 1 bowlers come up and have switched lanes. So on the right hand side we have the visiting bowler Rich Cocchi. On the left hand side the home bowler Bob Lee. And at the half, Rich has a 44 and Bob is at 68 plus whatever this ball is. And he's in the pocket and drops 9. That gives Bob a 77 first half, a 33 pin over Rich, pin lead over Rich. Rich goes to the left. Bob's just shooting at the 10 pin. And he puts it in the channel, so his string of marks ends at 3. Rich on the head pin and takes out 3 more for a 9 box, 53 after 6. Bob's going to play the wood, pick up a 10 box. It's 87 after 6. He's up 34 pins. Rich Cocchi in the pocket on the left. Drops 9. Nothing but the 10 pin. Bob Lee, right hand pocket. This ball breaks left to right, and so the ball came out to the right a little bit, which left him with 4. He took out 6. And Rich picks up his second spare in this game. Bob Lee trying to make a spare off of the 2, 5, 7, 8. And he hooks it a little to the right, doesn't get anything. So try again for a 10. And it's a 9. So Bob has 96 after 7. Rich is coming up to fill his spare in a 7th. He's at 63 plus this ball. And he's on the head pin solid. Takes out 5. Is he going to get that other one? Nope. So that puts his 7th box score at 68. Bobby drops 9 and is left with not just the 2 pin. Rich makes a great shot to try to pick up that spare and leaves the 3 pin. Bob for his spare attempt on the 2 pin only, and he hooks it a little to the right. Stays open this box. And Rich ends up with a 9 box, 77 after 8. Bob Lee also leaves his. He's has a 9 box for a 105 after 8. So Bob has a 28 pin lead at the moment. Rich needs to mark out to have a chance. And he drops 9. Is it going to be 10? No, but it would look great. He's got everything but the 5 pin. Bobby on the head pin. He takes out 9, leaves the 10 pin.
8 head pins? 8 head pins? I think that was 8 head pins in a row.
Yeah. It's been noted that Bobby's been on the head pin 8 times in a row. He's got a great eye today. Rich misses his spare effort, and Bob keeps it on the lane, but goes to the right of the 10 pin without going into the gutter. So he'll be open. Rich has a 9 box for 86 after 9. And Bob throws a gutter ball for a 9 box too. 114 after 9. So the lead remains at 28 for Bob. Rich's only hope here was a triple strike with Bob throwing some gutter balls. I don't think that's going to happen, so I think Bob Lee's going to win this string. Rich drops 6 on his first ball. Bob drops 6. Rich has 3 plus a split. He has a split, 3 on the right and plus 1 single pin. Bob has a diamond. Rich will be open in a 10. And Bob just wide of the object pin, picks up 2 more. And Rich picks up 1 more for 8. And Rich ends up with 94. Bob will finish out his box with a 10 box for a 124 string for Bob Lee. Some excellent bowling on the part of Bobby. He's really doing well on this one.
Missed every second shot, but
Yeah, you were on the head pin, Bob, 8 times.
are we? Yep. DW, you got it.
Deadwood. Yeah, we have a piece of wood in the gutter on lane 22, so we got to clear that out before they start. And Mike did a great job of doing that without taking any pins, so we don't have to reset. And we're coming into the 6th box on the second match. Both bowlers are on a spare, so this ball will be added to their 5th box score. And that's a 10. 10 fill, a strike for Mike DiGianni. And Kyle's going to try to match it. He's on the head pin too, picks up 7. So they close out their halves with Kyle Heady in the lead with a 69 and Mike DiGianni with a 54. He picked up a lot of ground. Kyle with a spare in the 7th. So both of them are on marks in the 6th box, with Mike on a strike. So he's at 64 plus 2 balls. Mike's at 79 plus a single ball. So Mike can pick up some ground here with some big fills or a spare.
Kyle's at 64. Mike's at 69.
No, Kyle's at 69. I'm sorry, I misspoke. That's okay. I can't remember my kids' names half the time either. I have to go through the list. All right, so 5 for Mike.
He was at 79 and
And
he's at 84.
Kyle threw a 5 fill, so Kyle has 84 after 6, and Mike has 71 after 6. Both bowlers are open in their 7. Mike picks up 1 more for a 9 box. That gives him 80 after 7.
There it is.
Are we missing a pin there? Because I thought that was a 9 box. All right, well,
That was a 10.
It was an 8 box.
Did Mike get an 8?
I thought it was a 9.
Mike, did you get an 8?
Okay, we saw that as a 9, but the bowler tells us it's an 8 box. So he's at 79 after 7. Kyle's at 94. So Mike obviously needs to mark. And he's off on the 3 pin, picks up 3. Kyle on the head pin. A little too much. Picks up 5 or 4. He slipped with a 2, 4, 3, 6, 9, 10. Another piece of wood. Spread eagle -1 +1. Mike's open. Kyle, what a shot. He gets everything but the 2 pin. Mike has the 1, 4, 7 remaining for the 10 attempts, and he just gets the head pin, an 8 box. Mike, 87 after 8. Kyle's going to try to get a 10 here. As you'll recall, Mike and Kyle tied their first string, and Mike won the second. So if we go forward and Kyle ends up winning the string, then they'll be tied in points. On the other side, Bob Lee has 4 points to Rich Cocchi's 2 points. On the head pin, and one of the more frustrating things that can happen, you hit the head pin, you think you've got a good shot, and you're left with a split. It's kind of ugly, but it can be made if he carries the pin over from the right to the left. Kyle pin drops 7. What a great attempt. He did what you needed to do, but it didn't take out 1 pin. Kyle's trying to make a spare here on 7 pins. He leaves 1. Both bowlers open again. Mike
Yeah, Dan, if the viewers aren't tired of hearing it, 40% of head pin shots by pros end up in being splits of some sort. Includes baby splits, sometimes includes wood, but those are stats I took off of Channel 5 broadcasts last summer when I was down in the hospital.
Oh, that's cool. No, sometimes I think it's more than that. I've had games with 8 red numbers up there. So he gets some. Mike gets some great action here. He's off the head pin, but he drops 6. Kyle was all over the head pin on that one and drops 9. Kyle's going to win this string. Maybe not. Mike hits a spare here. Makes it interesting. But Kyle hits a spare. That'll probably close us out. So at the 10th box, Mike's at 106 plus his ball, and Kyle's now at 122 plus ball. And Mike picks 3 on the fill for a 109 string. Kyle drops 9. And that gives Kyle a 131, the highest string we have so far.
Oh, he beat me.
And he did. He beat you, Bob.
Oh, I left those 3 9 drops. That was pretty 4-second shooting. All right, Dan, I'm just going to add these scores over here, and then I'm going to go bold rich. Okay?
Yep. Well, thank you, Bob, because I'm not good at this scoreboard yet.
94,
You'll get me good at it.
124, 131, and this is a 109.
Yep.
And then we have to delete these. And I think I have to make this column a little wider because the numbers are so big.
A little wider. It's not picking up the 130.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So, in total scores so far, Rich Cocchi's at 299 after 3. Bob Lee's at 350 after 3. And I'll correct the points here while we're at it. And get all our stats caught up as best as we can. Okay, we're going into the 4th game out of 5 games that will be bowled here. And Bob Lee has a 51-pin lead on total at the moment. Kyle Heady has a 7-pin lead in the other match, so very close in that one. Bob starts off with an 8 drop. They both have 8 drops, but the leaves are different. Bob has a 4-7, goes wide to the left, and Rich has a 7-10 split with some wood that may help it. Making a good effort at it, and oh my goodness, there it goes. I thought he almost got robbed there, but it came back. So Rich Cocchi starts with a spare in the first, and Bob Lee starts with a 9 box. Bob Lee, first ball in the 2nd box. Off to the right on the 6-pin, takes out 3. Rich Cocchi in the pocket. A nice 8 fill. A 2-7 split with some very attractive wood. Bob Lee on the double row. 4 horsemen plus 3 more. He's in the head pin, does not go. Rich Cocchi, 2 spares in a row. That's what he wanted to do. Bob Lee has another 9 box, so after 2, Bob Lee is at 18. Rich Cocchi at 28 plus a ball. Rich out to an early lead in this game. Bob Lee, first ball of the 3rd box. In the pocket. Looks to be a little light. Leaves him with a split. Cocchi with a ball off to the right, but he still picks up 4 in the fill, so he has 32 after 2. Bob Lee on the 7 pin still has 4 standing. Cocchi with a line of 4 and another line of 2. He's in there, and he gets everything but the 10 pin. Valiant effort on that one. And Bob Lee finishes this box with an 8. Rich Cocchi finishes open with a 9. So after 3 boxes, Bob Lee has 26. Rich Cocchi leads with a 41. Bob Lee, first ball, 4th box. In the pocket, solid. Takes everything but the 5 pin. Rich Cocchi, he's in the left-hand pocket, and he leaves 5, takes 5. Bob Lee on the spare attempt. The wood's a little tough there, I think. Tries to sweep it over, misses to the right. I think that was a good choice because if he had capped it, he probably would have deflected. Rich Cocchi makes another spare. Beautifully done. That's his 3rd spare out of 4 boxes. And Bob Lee picks up the 10, solid on the pin that time. Bob Lee has 36 after 4. He's been open all 4 boxes. Rich Cocchi's at 51 with 3 spares plus a fill ball to go. Bob Lee, 5th box. In the left-hand pocket, takes out 4. He's left with a triangle on the right-hand side. Rich Cocchi, this is a fill ball. He's in the left-hand pocket, and he takes out 9. That gives him 60 after 4 to Bob Lee's 36. He's commanding lead at the moment. Bob Lee, right on the object pin and punches it right through. Very frustrating. It's happened to me quite a bit lately. And Cocchi just off of the pin. Couldn't put a piece of paper between the ball and the pin. And Bob Lee in the hole again, 8 box 44 after 5. Cocchi misses a single pin again. Rich has 69 after 5. Nice half. Oh boy. So our match 2, and it's interesting how in this game it can be a really hot one game, and the next game you slow down, your opponent gets really hot, you can go back and forth like that. In this match, they're actually quite close. There's only a 7-pin difference in total so far. They're tied on points. They've each won a game when they tied one. So Kyle Heady starts off on the 3-pin and takes out 4. Mike DiGianni is on the 2-pin, and he also takes out 4. So Kyle's on a spare attempt, he misses the object pin, just picks up 1 more pin. Mike on a 3-pin, he gets a little bit better luck with that one than Kyle did, and he picked up a few more. And Kyle is off in the hole, starts off with a disappointing 5 box. And Mike, let me get everybody straight here. Mike picks up a 9 box, so he starts with an early 4-pin lead. Kyle in the 2nd box. On the head pin, punches through, leaves 4 horsemen plus the spread eagle plus the 9 pin. Mike drops, it says 7 on the scoreboard. Yep, it's 7. 1, 2, and the 8-pin are left. Kyle right through the hole again. Spare attempt for Mike. And everything but the back pin. They're all one pin. So Kyle trying to get pins here. He goes through the hole again. He's 8 after 2. And Kyle is at 19 after 2. Close with a 10 box. So Kyle needs to pick some ground just string. So in his third box, first ball, off to the right on the 6 pin, takes out 3. Mike on the head pin, and now he gets the curse of the spread eagle. Kyle at 3 pin, fixing with the 1, 2, 4. Mike attempting to spare the spread eagle. Gets 9 of them, or gets 5 of the 6, so he's got a 9. Kyle closes out with a 10 box. He's at 18 after 3. Mike has a 9 box, so he's at 28 after 3. So he's got a 10-pin lead at the moment. Kyle's going to need to mark more soon to catch up. Kyle on his pin gets number 6 drops. Mike in the pocket full. He's trying up with a 10 pin, so he's got the 2, 4, 10. Kyle, great effort here. The 8 pin. And Mike is on the trouble and everything but the 10 pin. Kyle 9 for 27 to 4. And Mike with a 10 for 38 after so it's a lead for now he has a total so far doing 4 box wins. Kyle has a nice pocket hit, but leaves a triangle in the center plus a 7 pin. Oh, let's go. Mike's light in the pocket. He's left with a triangle on the right plus the 7 pin. Kyle did great shot. Move the pins shot. But a 7 and 8 remain. And a spare for Mike DiGianni in the 5th box. And an 8 for Kyle Heady. After 5 boxes in the second match, Kyle Heady has 35 and a half, and Mike DiGianni has 48 plus a ball. So back to our Group 1 bowlers, where Rich Cocchi is leading Bob Lee 69 to 44 after 5 boxes. We've switched places. Rich is on the right, Bob on the left now. So first ball in the 6th box for Rich. Dropped the ball, but he ended up in the left-hand pocket. Bob Lee trying to make up some ground here. Bob throws it in the pocket. Doesn't get a strike, but gets a nice lead. He's left with a 5-8. Rich on the very close to his object pin. Gets everything but the 3. If that other pin had fallen the other direction, that would have been a spare. And Bob on the wood rather than the pin. Rich closes with a 9 box, so he's at 78 after 6. And Bob also with a 9 box, so he's at 53 after 6, so 7 under par. Bob needs to mark. Rich just needs to keep going and keep pinning. Rich with another spread eagle. 4 on the first ball. Bob Lee off to the right. 4 horsemen left. Piece of wood in the front that could guide the ball a little bit if he goes to the right of the head pin. Rich picks up 3 on the right. Bob Lee on the wood, and that takes out everything but the 2 pin. So they didn't fall in a line, they just went flying in different directions. Rich Cocchi with a 9 box. 87 after 7 for Rich. Bob Lee trying to get a 10, he needs every pin, and he does not get that, so he's a 9 box for 62 after 7.
Got ourselves a match over here.
So Rich Cocchi in the 8th box, drops his strike. Some insurance and some help with total. Bob Lee off to the right, he's on the 4 pin. It's a little late action, so he ends up dropping 4 with that. 4 horsemen right, plus the 2 and the 9. Some wood that may help sweep the back pins out if he hits it just right. He's off on the wood. And that leaves the 3, 6, 9, 10 pins. Piece of wood in front that you can use as a snowplow. And he picks up a 10. He needed that. Bob Lee at 72 after 8. Rich Cocchi at 97 plus 2 balls. Commanding lead. Cocchi off on the 2 pin for his first fill ball. 6, I'm sorry, leaves her. Bob Lee tells me 6. Cocchi has 4 horsemen on the right.
I got hit next one.
For this, and he gets the spare for a 10 fill, 1-7 after 8. Bob Lee trying for a spare. Yes!
Stay with him, Bob.
Takes some wood on the wall. She's 117 at this point. So this is a fill ball. In the pocket, he drops 8. Bob Lee is also in on a fill ball. He's at 82 plus this ball. And Bob Lee drops 9, so after 9 boxes, Rich Cocchi's at 125 and Bob Lee's at 91. Cocchi for another mark. And he gets it. Bob Lee trying to make a mark. Can't win the string, but at least he can keep total going here. And he throws it in the gutter. One more ball for Bob Lee, and then Rich Cocchi will do his fill. And Bob Lee ends up with a 10 box. So Bob Lee closes with a 101. Rich Cocchi's at 135 plus this ball. He's having a great game. And his fill ball is 8. So Rich Cocchi closes with a 143. It's the highest string we've seen of the 8 of the. How many have we seen so far? We've seen
there is no lead.
6, 8 strings total. And that's not enough to flip the lead, because Bob had a 52-pin lead, I believe. But it's awful
real
close right now.
Excel doesn't want to tell us the answer. Here it is.
So in total, Rich Cocchi's at 442 to Bob Lee's 451. Bob has a 9-pin lead, and they're tied in points. They both have 4 points. They both won 2 games. So in the fill, in the match 2, Mike drops 7, so he's at 55 at the half. He has a 20-pin lead over Kyle Heady, who's at 35 at the half. So Kyle needs to mark. He knows it. Kyle dropped 8. Going to try to make a mark here. Doesn't quite go for him. And Mike picks up no more, so Kyle picks up at least 2 pins on this. Kyle picks up a 10, so he chips into Mike's lead by 3 pins. Mike is at 62, Kyle's at 45. Mike puts in the left-hand pocket, drops 5. Kyle on the 3-pin, drops 6. He's left with a 1, 2, 4, 10. Mike shooting at a cluster of 5 on the right. And he gets it. Spare in the 7th for Mike DiGianni. Kyle trying to match it. He's a little light. Takes out 2. And he has the 410 with a piece of wood left. Nice try. 9 box for Kyle Heady. 54 after 7. Mike on his fill ball, puts it in the pocket. It's 8. That leaves him with, can't read it, 80 after 7. Heady on the 4-pin. Takes out 3. DiGianni making a great effort at the 7/8s, but just gets the 7-pin. Kyle should have had that spare. He was all over that one, but the 10-pin decided to stay up. So Kyle going for a 10 box here. And he gets it. Remember, both of these bowlers were tied in points after the first 3 strings. And Kyle had a very slim 7-pin lead in total. Mike DiGianni on the 3-pin picks up 5. It's up to 4 horsemen left, right, 7-pin. Kyle really wanted that 7-pin to drop because he's got the 6-7-10 split. No wood to help really, so he's got to take the 6-pin and kick it over to the 7. He's going to try that. It doesn't go. In the meantime, Mike had picked up 1 more pin. They're both open in this box. And Mike picks up 2 more, so Mike has an 8 box. He's at 97 after 9. And Kyle picks up 1 more for an 8 box, and he's at 72 after 9. So Mike has a 35-pin lead. He's going to win the string. What's that?
25.
25-pin lead, I'm sorry. Too many numbers going around him. Thank heaven for Bob. Kyle's off on the 3-pin, leaves a 4 horseman left. And Mike was on the 2-pin, left a mess up there. Doesn't get the spare. Kyle wants a spare for point purposes anyway. He picks up 2. Final box. Attempts a trick shot. He got 1 picks. 4. Kyle picks 1 for make it 2. Nope, 4 for an 81. And that changes our total in this pitch.
Let me just clear that. There. Now we're going to be on the 5th string here. And that should all be accurate. You can check that against this.
So going into the 5th and final box, our game. Let me correct the point total here. So currently in this in our match 1, the bowlers are tied in terms of points, and Bob Lee has a 9-pin lead in total. The second game, Mike DiGianni has 5 points to Kyle's 3, and he has a 28-pin lead in total, or 18-pin lead in total, sorry. Bob Lee, starting off the 5th and final game, drops 6 for, leaves 4 horsemen, takes out everything but the head pin, which is on the 2-pin. Coming in on the head pin, he's going to knock it to the pin, and he gets out a few more, so for 10s here, and he's got 9 box par. Cocchi trying for a 10. On the head pin, big stance, but only gets an 8. Bob Lee 9 after 1, and Rich 8 after 1. Bob Lee in box 2 first. Also on the pin, but he gets 1. Bob Lee has 2 here. Around the head pin, just picks up more. Cocchi has 6 to shoot at. He's on the head pin and all but the 6-pin ball. And Lee trying to picks more for 7 box, 2. And Cocchi with 9 box, 17 after. And a bowler in 5th game. The lead drops 9, so lead. Rich Cocchi on 2-pin, 3-pin, takes out 4. Bob Lee on a start, that may help if he can touch it, but it's not a big target. And he misses to the right. 8. Goes off of his object pin, but he's going to go. Doesn't go. He's left with nothing but the head pin. Inside back there. It's to do with second ball. He takes out the 10. 26 after 3. Cocchi 5. 1 pin difference right here. Bob Lee on the 3-pin. 4 horn plus the 10-pin. And the same lead for Rich Cocchi. Both bowlers still looking from 20 they're from 30 to 30. Lee on the pin can leave a 7-10 split. Wood 7. Cocchi comes in just off the head pin. He's left with a 1-7-10, a high-low check. Bob Lee picks up the 7-pin, 9 box, 35 at 4. Rich Cocchi almost gets not 1-7, but he's up at us 2, so $9 for third four after 4 step in. Bob Lee, he's left. It looks like a 7 and a 9 pin. Cocchi.
Better ball than that,
little
buddy.
bit full on the head pin, but it looked like a better ball than the result that he got. He picks up 5 pins. There's 3 on the left, 2 on the right. Bob Lee for the spare attempt. And he got it. Good read of wood. He carried the wood to the left to take out the 7 pin. Oh, so close. Just slightly off of his. It's all but 1. And Rich Cocchi, the last of the first half, picks up a 10. Oh, after 5 boxes in the 5th string, he's at 45 plus a ball, and Rich Cocchi's at 44. So our match 2 bowlers are coming up. Kyle Heady on the right and Mike DiGianni on the left. Right now, Mike is leading the match. Kyle punches out the head pin for a spread eagle. And Mike is to the left of the head pin just slightly, but he gets it, and unfortunately it doesn't do him a whole lot of good, does it?
Pair head pins, pair splits. It was a pair of head pins, a pair of splits.
Yep.
So just beautiful shots, both of them.
That happens a lot, it seems. Heady picks up 2 more. Mike picks up one more. Heady closes out with a 9 box. And DiGianni picks up a 9 box also. So, in the first box of the 5th string, they're both at 9. Kyle Heady on the head pin, left hand pocket. Leaves a triangle on the right and a 7 pin on the left. Mike DiGianni,
That's a big break.
beautiful ball, but the 7 pin doesn't go. It'll be interesting to see what Heady does with this wood. Is going for the wood or going for the pins? Taps the wood. I was thinking maybe sweeping the wood over. And Mike DiGianni has a tough read here. He's got wood way out in front of that pin, but he's got an open spot.
It bounced.
Nope.
Oh, it bounced over it. Went right over it. Right up.
That 40-mile-an-hour ball he throws really.
I think it may have gone to the right of the pin in the first spot and then bounced back right over it.
Well, he slowed down a little too. That ball was at 35. Kyle's around right around 30.
Well, 35 is down there.
Yeah.
40 is out of his
Oh,
hand.
he was off scale here before because this only reads to 40 and it was off scale. So
Yep. But imagine there's a lot of friction between the line and the head pin, and that they measure at the head pin here, and we measure out of the hand with the speed gun.
Yeah, I've seen you do that where we lose about 5 miles an hour in the typical bowler between the time it releases and the time it hits down there.
As little as 2, but as much as 5. You're right. Depends on if you throw with backspin or not.
Well, you made me feel better about my ball because I know I've slowed down a lot in the last few years. And when you put the radar gun on me, it was 5 miles an hour faster than it was down there. It gave me a little bit of confidence again. All right, Heady drops 7.
It's a good check on the, you never know if the machine has been calibrated. This has been calibrated, and it is used by professional baseball scouts. It's a Bushnell.
Okay, Heady misses a spare attempt. DiGianni is trying to make a spare on 4 pins remaining from his first ball. Both bowlers will be open in the 3rd box. Heady trying to clean up the split. Off to the right a little, has an 8 box. Got a little bit of a lob there, but he didn't hit anything, so it's immaterial. And Mike has an 8 also, so he leads Kyle by 2 pins, 27 to 25 after 3 boxes. Heady, 4th box, he's in the pocket. Looked like he deserved better than that, but he's got a makeable spare with a left-hand triangle.
There it is.
Mike is also in the pocket, and he's left with a check mark on the left. So hitting the pocket didn't get either of these guys a strike.
Oh, that'll do it. Oh, no,
Heady
no.
was all over that, and it didn't go. He should check the warranty on this because that looked like a great hit.
Okay.
And he's got a 9 box. And Mike DiGianni is also open, but he ends up with a 10 box. Widens his lead slightly. So Mike DiGianni after 4 is a 37 to Kyle Heady's 34. If Heady can mark here, he can take the lead potentially, but he needs to do something here. And he drops 9. Is it going to be 10? It's wiggly. It's thinking about it, but it's going to stay standing.
That was a great break anyway.
And Mike's off to the right, so Kyle's got an opportunity here. He can pick up the spare.
Anything should do. It does.
Not in doubt whatsoever. Played the wood, had to. Sits down on a mark. Mike's going to try to match it here. And what an effort.
I apologize for that.
Everything but the 5-pin. That was a great spare attempt. And he closes with a 9 box. So after 5 boxes, Kyle Heady's at 44 plus a ball. Mike DiGianni is at 46. So Kyle can take the lead with a nice spare fill. Now, coming up for the last look at our match 1 bowlers, Bob Lee on the left, Rich Cocchi on the right. Bob Lee is at 45 plus a ball. His first ball here is a spare fill. And Rich Cocchi is at 44 even. So Rich wants to try to get ahead here. Cocchi on the 2-pin, drops 6. He's left with a 1-3-6-7 split. Bob Lee on his fill, in the pocket, takes out 8, so that closes out the first half for Bob Lee with a 53 to Cocchi's 44. Cocchi now on his spare attempt. Oh, he's just off the head pin, but he picks up 2 more. Bob Lee on a spare attempt on the 5-10 with a piece of wood there that may hinder, I don't know. And he tries to take it off the pin, doesn't go. Both bowlers open in the 6 box. Cocchi to left box 6. Bob Lee off the right box 62 after 6. Got a 9-pin lead in this game so far. And again, both bowlers are tied in point 4-4, and Lee has a lead in total of 10 pins. Cocchi threw that great 143 strings on the 3 club. He drops 5 on his first ball. Bob drops 6. Cocchi again has a split. 4 horsemen right plus a 7-pin. Here it comes. Just off the head pin, picks up 3 more. Bob Lee trying to make her open this up. And Bob Lee picks everything but the head pin. Cocchi trying to get at least 2 pins. He won that split in the third ball. Clean revolve. Nice 10 box. Bob Lee trying to match the 10, and he does. 63 for Cocchi after 7. Bob Lee at 72. Cocchi needs mark. Cocchi on his first ball in box 8. He's on the 2-pin. He's left with another split. 4 horsemen right plus an 8-pin. Bob Lee in the pocket. Breaks up the split as he 4-7 alone. Just those 2 pins. Cocchi. Oh, he's almost on it. He's just off the head pin slightly. Picks up everything but the head pin. And Bob Lee for the spare attempt. And his ball hooks just a little to the left. Takes a 7-pin. Both bowlers open again. Cocchi picks up the 10. 73 after 8. Bob Lee, a 9 box, 81 after 8, so Cocchi closed a little bit of the gap. It's down to an 8-pin cap lead for Bob Lee. Cocchi wants to mark badly here. In the pocket, looked like a strike ball, and yet another split for Rich. 5-8-10. Tough one to make. Bob Lee, the left-hand pocket, and no surprise here, he gets a split too. So Bob Lee is left with the 3-5-7-10. Cocchi trying to carry that pin over, comes in a little bit to the left, just picks up the 2-pin. Bob Lee on the wood, leaves the pin too. And Cocchi ends up with a 9 box. He's at 82 after 9. Bob Lee, single pin will add to his lead. He doesn't get it. He's at a 9 box. Cocchi must have to fill it off. Cocchi drops not a big ball that looks like it's going to be a strike, but it leaves his 7 to 10 pin. And he's hoping that wood gets out of there because it's kind of blocking everything here. Bob Lee's off on the 3 pin. And he has a more favorable lead, I think. He has a triangle in the middle and a couple pieces of wood in front. Cocchi, the wood does not help him at all. Lee has double wood here that may help. Kind of does, but he leaves the 8 pin, but he will win this string. And Rich Cocchi, for good measure, gets a 10 box for 92 in the 5th game. And Bob Lee trying for 100. Spin. And he gets it, so Bob Lee wins the 5th string 100 to 92. And he will also win total. So that'll give Bob Lee 6 more points. 2 points for the string and 4 for the total. So Bob Lee will win the match 10 pins to 4. Those 8 pins were huge in the point total. All right, and our other Central Park Lanes bowler, Mike DiGianni, is on the right-hand side. He's at 46 after 5. Kyle Heady's at 44 plus a ball. Whatever this ball is, he's on a 2 pin, but picks up 6. So Kyle Heady takes a 4 pin lead in this game, 50 to 46. Gianni is off of his spare lead. Kyle has a 4 horse to the right with some wood. Picks up 2. And Mike picks up 1 more for a 9 box, so Mike's at 55 after 6. Kyle has a 10 box for 60 after 6, so Kyle is currently running a 5 pin lead. And remember, after 4 strings, Mike had a 13 pin lead in total. And Mike has a 5 points so far and Kyle 3. So this could be a game which makes a 6 point gain for the winner, depending on the outcome. Mike a little frustrated with that. He threw a 4 horse or a spread eagle plus 1, and then couldn't pick up anything in the next ball. Heady picks up all but the 7 pin, and Mike picks up 2 more for a 7 box. He's at 62 after 7. Heady trying to pick up 1 more pin, and it looks like he's got it. He does. 70 after 7 for Kyle Heady. So Kyle's maintaining an 8 pin lead, chipping away on that total. So right now, the total lead is a matter of 5 pins. DiGianni off to the right gets 4 horsemen to the left. Kyle Heady picks up 3. He's on a 6 pin. He's got a double row there to shoot at. Makeable spare, both of them.
92. Yep.
And Mike DiGianni is off to the right. Heady just off of the head pin on this one. Picks up 4 more. And DiGianni picks up a 9 box, so he'll be at 71 after 8. Heady picks up 1 more for 8, so he's at 78 after 8. So Mike picked up a little bit more ground on total, and that puts the total lead at 7 right now. Mike on a 2 pin.
Total lead should be at 11. Game lead's at 7.
Oh, I was looking over here and adding up those numbers. So I stand correct. Match lead right now for Mike DG is 2 pins. I was looking at the wrong set of numbers. Can't count on me for numbers, I suppose. DiGianni is open in his box. Heady has the 1, 6, 10. For the head pin, it would comes back with on the head pin. He's open. Mike is with a 7 box. He's a 78 after 9. Heady's got a 9 box at 87 after 9. So the match total is in favor of Mike by 9 pins at the moment.
Yep.
And Heady is up by 9. He needs to spare and have a big fill and hope that Mike doesn't do the same thing. DiGianni with a 6. Heady off 3 pin picks up 7. The lose 7. DiGianni off to the right, misses there, he loses string.
Has to make this to win the total.
And Heady misses to the left, he picks up 1 game. So Heady will win the game, but DiGianni will win the total. Heady with a 10 box. So for the 5th game, Kyle Heady wins 97 to 86 by 11 pins.
And that will do it.
And from a total standpoint,
Put that there. All right. Those are your scores.
okay. Are those totals accurate?
Those totals should be accurate. Totals match at 520 to 513.
Okay, so for final results, Rich Cocchi is defeated by Bob Lee 10 points to 4. And let me get that.
9 to 5. Yep.
5. All right, go ahead. I'll let you put that in. So Kyle Heady has 5 points to Mike DiGianni's 9 points. So Mike DiGianni will win the match. Very close match in that one. And we saw some great bowling today with a high score of 143. We saw 131 game, a couple of 120 games. So some excellent bowling for the B division today. And again, before.
Everybody's king of the next in Pittsburgh for any of the bowlers that are listening.
Very good. So thanks everybody for joining us for the Atlantic Kansas Singles Tour. We'll see you in matches soon. And thanks again and have a great afternoon.